Very rarely do I make reaction videos to anything of trying to, well, I guess that could go either way. You could say all of my videos are reaction videos in a way to something, considering that we are analyzing works of fiction, we are reviewing video games, we're talking about the news, things that are happening, reviewing toys. I suppose in some ways, everything I do is reacting to something. But today, I wanted to talk about something that Slcmof said over on Twitter. Now, Slcmof is a buddy of mine. I don't want to pretend that we're the best friends in the entire world, like we sleep in the same bed. We're like, we're like the three little bears or whatever they were that slept with the porridge and they had that weird little girl that they kept in their house. The more I think about it, that story's a little odd. Anyways, fairy tales are weird. But Slcmof over on Twitter did point something out that I really want to talk about, and that is Warner Bros. Now, I have felt unable to talk much negatively about Warner Bros. For a long time for a few reasons. One, I have in the past talked to people at WB. They have always been extremely kind to me. The people that I have spoken to have always treated me with great amounts of respect. I never expected them to. To me, I'm just some person who makes videos in the addition on my house. It's not even my house. I kind of have a bit of a, I suppose in some ways, imposter syndrome or lack of validity for my own work. A lot of the times I feel a little bit unworthy to be doing what I do. My wife, I'm sure, is very hardly trying to hold her tongue in the background. But, a lot of times I feel like I can't call out bullshit with this because there's so many people who are already on like the bandwagon of what I do isn't a real job, or oh man, let's look for an example of this guy being an ungrateful asshat. Oh man, let's like take something out of context. That I really try and keep a lot of this shit to myself because it's just not worth dealing with the backlash to it, whether it be from Warner Brothers themselves or from people who watch my content, because it just gets mind-bogglingly exhausting, All I want to do is make my videos in peace. I know that that sounds silly, and I completely understand that in some regard, if that's really what I want, I should stop uploading them and just share them with a couple of friends. But what I want is to be able to create stuff that is clearly transformative in nature, whether it be reviews, some type of commentary, whether it be, completely original stuff, whether it be news videos where we talk about a tiny snippet of something and, completely go off of that. Toys, all this stuff. All of this stuff I want to do is to share it with you guys, not just a couple friends, but with you guys. And something I have constantly had happen is copyright abuse. And I don't talk about this because of all the people who already are on this weird hill of like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if it's transformative or not. If you showed a 5-second clip of Batman, WB owns it. So like, how about you suck their dick? Like, there's so many people that are just shills for these companies, whether it be at the companies themselves or fans, that I feel like I can't talk about this stuff. But Kobe finally pointed it out on Twitter, and it's something I've been alluding to for a while, that Warner Bros. Is completely, in my opinion, plagued with false copyright claims against creators. It is ridiculous. The only people I've seen talk about it in the past are creators that I guess would be deemed controversial, someone like The Quartering, where if you even mention his name, it's almost like the CNN media, like hawks, like fly in and be like, why are you associated with this man that you've never met, by citing his video one time, which I've also had happen. But Kobe talked about this and said that WB has claimed his most recent video because it used 25 seconds of DC TV footage in a way that is 100% fair use. You know what's funny? Actually, the whole video could have used DC TV footage and been done in a way that's fair use. That is how fair use law works. For some reason, the companies don't give two flying fucks about fair use content, and it is really pissing me off. I cannot tell you how many sales I have made WB. Like, seriously, I can't tell you how many people It is in the hundreds, if not thousands, of people who have commented on my videos saying that they have bought full-price WB video games because of things that I talked about or showed. DMs I get talking about people going in and pre-ordering Gotham Knights because of things I talked about. DMs I get of people talking about how excited they are for Suicide Squad and how they didn't know certain things about it before it was coming out, the game, which obviously is probably going to be a while out now, who send me emails saying that they bought it already because of me talking about it. And I don't bring this stuff up because at the end of the day, I didn't make the Suicide Squad game. I didn't make whatever the next Batman thing is. I didn't make Superman the animated series. So the sales that I basically handed them on a silver platter by talking about that stuff a ton and really being passionate about it, I don't talk about that because to me, it already feels like in some ways I have that nagging voice in the back of my head of somebody else made this Superman thing. Who am I to even talk about it? Who gives a shit what I think? A lot of times I really feel that way because I'm just a normal person. And I feel like I can't call out this stuff, this garbage, but I'm so tired of feeling that way. I'm tired of worrying about oh man, what is my audience going to say if I complain about this, that, or this? Are they going to say that I'm ungrateful and lazy and my content doesn't take any work and nobody watches me anymore? Just go back to Batman. I get that shit all the time. Am I going to get the nasty emails of oh, why don't you do this, this, and this? Or the comments calling me fat or my wife fat or my cat stupid looking or whatever, all this shit that I get from people. I'm tired of letting it control how I talk about things. Because yes, I want to be a nice person, but I don't want to be a nice guy. I want to be a kind person. There is a big difference. And I feel like I've hit a point where I am tired of being nice about shit that isn't nice. This is not okay. I am constantly hit with these claims from these companies, and I always win. There has been zero examples of me appealing a copyright claim I've gotten, or a content ID match, or anything where I lost. None. Out of every time I appealed it, I won. And one time, I agreed with the copyright holder and said, you know what? Yeah, I used too much of something here, and I don't think it was transformative enough, and I conceded on it. It was on my Let's Play channel. I still think it was probably transformative. It was with Arkham Origins, but it was a music thing, and it was one of those things where it was not worth dealing with. Every single other time I have disputed these, I have won. And these companies basically bully their way to success with this stuff. What they do, in my opinion, is they know that they have so much money, so much time, so much resources, and so many people working for them, even for free. People like me, who love Batman, who love Superman, who talk about different concepts of their movies and stuff like that, because I'm talking about it from the perspective of a fan, that if I were to go away, there would be 30 people to replace me. And they know that. They know that there is a massive demand to do what I do. There is a massive demand to do YouTube. There is a massive demand to be the next PewDiePie or the next whatever. People don't know the crap that comes with it. People don't understand all the behind the scenes stuff I deal with. The fact that I spend most of my waking days working. People don't know about 60 to 80 hour work weeks. They don't actually look at that stuff. They look at the positives and make it so you can't talk about any of this. And I'm really sick of it. I'm glad Kobe called this out. I know nothing will come of it. This website will never fix its garbage with copyright claims. It just never will happen. It falls on us to keep disputing them. And at a certain point, if you dispute it too far, you basically agree to go to court if they say no. So no matter what, you pretty much have a company's figurative gun to your head. Now imagine this. Just imagine I go to court against WB. Who do you think is going to win? No. Here's why. It has happened one time that I can think of where a creator won. It was the H3H3 situation. It was against another creator, not a massive company, and he had tons of crowdfunding behind him and a much bigger audience at the time. If someone like me or Alex from Podcast Now or, Slcmof, Kobe, if we go up against Sony, if we go up against WB, even if we are 100% legally in the right, it doesn't matter. Because those companies have the money to run you into the ground in the court system, to drag things out, to file appeals, to continue, just pushing little buttons and finding little ways to do it. What am I going to do? A public attorney? There's just nothing you can do about this stuff, and it's exhausting. It just doesn't... I don't get it. I really don't get it. With the amount of free sales, the amount of good faith, all this stuff that I have delivered to these companies, even when I shit talk a little bit, even when I basically make maybe too big of a deal out of something somebody said about Batgirl, or maybe I poke fun at the Supergirl costume a little bit or whatever. The amount of positivity that I have added to the well for companies like this to get constantly shit on and ignored is so annoying. And they'll act like nothing happened. They will contact me and be like, hey, do you want the DC Fandom box this year? Or I will reach out to them. I have straight up reached out about 4 different times trying to contact someone at WB and be like, hey, listen, is there a way to maybe whitelist my channel? You've worked with me several times, both on an official capacity and an unofficial capacity. You know that I'm not copyright abusing your stuff. Is there something we can do here? They don't make exceptions. They don't listen. They don't care. It's not just exclusive to this company, but I'm very tired of dealing with it with this company, and I'm glad that somebody finally called it out. If you guys don't already support Slcmof, he has a lot of different social media. He also obviously has his own channel, which he does a very good job on. His stuff is mostly WB, far more than mine. If you want that itch scratched of the Batman stuff and all of that, then I know, I get hundreds of people telling me every day, just go back to that, blah, blah, blah. Well, he's the guy, he is doing a fantastic job and killing it with that. And even someone like him, they just don't care. It's mind-bogglingly stupid to me. Because even from a self-serving perspective, you would think that these people who are throwing free marketing and sales at you, who are constantly shaping the opinion on your brand, you would think that you'd give them a little bit of slack. People like me, or I should say people much bigger than me, have such a massive sway on how people see these brands. They have a huge sway on it. If PewDiePie tomorrow released a video about how he's boycotting the next Aquaman movie because of Amber Heard or something like that, I'm only using him as an example because his channel's so huge. Or say Markiplier, he released a video about how you shouldn't buy Suicide Squad the game for some reason or something like that. Those things could directly impact the sales and viewpoints of these companies and their products, because our influence is from the perspective of a fan. We don't work there. We don't have a need to suckle at the teat of the company. We are our own boss. We make our own stuff, but we still have to abide by bullying. And a lot of these huge channels, they don't have to anymore. And if they were to go balls to the wall war on people or on their properties, it would be a disaster for these companies. I don't understand why they don't know that. This is not a threat. I don't have any sway over any of the biggest content creators on this platform or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that the work that people on this platform do is constantly underrated, is constantly ignored, whether it be by companies or by audience members, is constantly belittled. And at the end of the day, a lot of us are doing free marketing for these companies without even trying to. What I'm trying to do is share from the perspective of a fan things I love, things I want to talk about, and make truly transformative work that falls under fair use. I cannot think of a single time where I actually violated fair use principles ever in my life, where I would say that I was not comfortable defending what I did in a court of law. But even if I was, it doesn't matter because I don't have the resources to do it. And I'm tired of the companies taking advantage of that. I'm tired of YouTube sitting with their thumb up their ass, not caring because they make money at the end of the day anyway. And I'm tired of just feeling like I can't talk about this stuff. If somebody thinks I'm ungrateful for my position or whatever because I have a problem with being kicked in the teeth over and over again, that's fine. Try spending a day doing what I do every single day of the week, 7 days a week, even when you're sick with COVID. I highly doubt you'd feel the same way. But I'm just preaching at the choir to people who actually know, and the other people will never listen regardless. Hope you have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, stay shui.